Hey everybody, Minus here from Pantheon Plus, and I wanted to make a short and sweet video explaining the various base abilities of the Planeswalkers because I really couldn't find this information in an easy to locate place. Now it's important to note that while Planeswalkers can play all colors of Magic, they have base attacks and abilities that are unique to the Planeswalker themselves, which could play into having success with different combos or abilities within their featured color. If you haven't heard of Magic Legends, check out my other video called Why I'm Excited for Magic Legends, where I talk about the base concepts discussed about the game through various videos and newsletters, but put into one neat package. However, I want to keep this one short, so let's get into it. First up is the Geomancer, who represents the color red in Magic the Gathering. She specializes in melee-based attacks which actually combo and generate a shield in what's called Magma Fist. She defaults with two cooldown-oriented abilities in Volcanic Fury and Furious Leap. Now, Volcanic Fury deals damage to nearby foes while consuming some of your shield to deal additional damage. Furious Leap functions as a quick gap closer, which also damages enemies at the impact point upon landing. The Geomancer is one of the Planeswalkers that I am most excited for, but I sort of fear there may be another person at Pantheon Plus who may like fire a bit more than I do. If they don't play Geomancer, there's a good chance I will, as I like the melee combat strategy around combos and shields, and it sounds like she has a really strong gap closer, which I'm always into in ARPGs. Next up is the Sanctifier, who represents the color white in Magic the Gathering. He specializes in a basic ranged attack called Divine Bolt, and two special abilities called Wave of Radiance and Salvation. Wave of Radiance creates a wave of holy energy in a cone in front of the Sanctifier, damaging all those caught in the wake. Salvation causes the Sanctifier to gain a devotion counter upon using it. Now this will also heal both the Sanctifier and the creatures they control. And upon receiving 4 devotion counters, a 4/4 white angel token with lifelink will be created for 20 seconds and remove all devotion counters. This is another which I'm very high on, and while the basic attack of Divine Bolts doesn't really appeal to me as much as the melee combat of the Geomancer, the two abilities they have are both pretty awesome. Who doesn't want a lifelink 4/4 angel dealing out some damage while also providing health? Now white was probably my second favorite color when playing the card game, so this class is also very high in consideration for me. The next selectable character is the Planeswalker who represents the color in Magic that I played the most in the card game, blue, and that is the Mind Mage. They have a mid-range attack called Mind Lash, which sends a cone of energy orbs out at the enemies. Aside from their basic attack, they also have Confound and Illusionary Escape. Now Confound will deal damage to foes in a cone in front of the Mind Mage, and confuse one of these mobs who is hit for 6 seconds, while stunning all the other enemies hit for 3 seconds. Illusionary Escape taunts a foe with an illusion of the Mind Mage, and grants him increased movement speed in the process. Again, much like I said with Sanctifier, I'm not into the Mind Mage's basic attack as much as I am the Geomancer, but the added abilities are also pretty awesome. Turning an enemy on its friends while they're stunned is pretty cool, and who doesn't like an escape ability that distracts your enemies while providing run speed? Much like the first two, I have high interest in the Mind Mage, mostly because I was a huge fan of blue in the Magic card game. Any of these first 3 I'd be pretty happy to select for my start of the open beta. Kicking off the last 2 Planeswalkers is the Beast Caller, who represents the color green in Magic. The Beast Caller wields a huge axe, and her basic attack is a melee sort of cleave in front of her. She also has the abilities of Rending Throw and Wild Roar. Rending Throw throws her axe outward and damages enemies in front of her, while also marking the enemy's hit. When a marked enemy is killed, it will restore health to both the Beast Caller and her companion. Wild Roar heals both the Planeswalker and her companion instantly, as well as putting a healing over time effect on both of them. It will also teleport the Beast Caller's companion to her while buffing it up 2/2 and causing it to taunt all nearby enemies. The Beast Caller sounds great for representing the green color in Magic because it feels like it'll be a strong creature companion playstyle, which is very reminiscent of how it plays while playing the card game. Now I'm looking forward to playing less creatures at first and more sorcery. So this class really isn't for me, but I think those who often play green and want a creature-heavy spell list will enjoy this class greatly. Now finally, representing the black magic of the Magic universe is the Necromancer. The basic attack of the Necromancer is mid-ranged, not only causes damage to enemies hit, but also adds quick 3-second dots on the enemy, and some of that damage actually transfers life back to the Necromancer. Aside from the basic attack, they also have Grave Upheaval and Soul Wither. Grave Upheaval will deal damage to foes around a targeted enemy, and then create 2 1/1 skeleton creatures in that location. Each skeleton still in the battlefield from a previous use will be replaced by the new skeletons. Soul Wither deals damage over 5 seconds to foes around the Necromancer, also healing 10% of that damage dealt. Now, foes inflicted with this are slowed, and they also can be passed through physically while under the effect. I have a feeling the Necromancer will be a very highly played class because of its life draining abilities, as well as a default ability to have 2 creatures at all times. Even if someone wants to use mostly a sorcery deck, some of those spells are amplified by having creatures to sacrifice, which is great when you have 2 skeletons as a default ability and you don't need cards to summon the creatures to sacrifice for these various effects. Well, I'm still making up my mind currently, deciding between the Geomancer, whom at the moment I like a lot, or perhaps the Sanctifier Mind Mage. What Planeswalker are you looking to start as you adventure into Magic Legends Open Beta on March 23rd? Let me know in the comments, and I hope to see you in game. Until next time.